Hello, everybody. This is Up and Atom Comics, and I want to thank everybody for sticking with me and getting ready to watch another video. What I thought I would do, I have like a huge haul of stuff that I've gotten, and I need to catch up a little bit. So we'll try to do a video here to try to talk through some of the things that I have recently had come in. Um, and there's some kind of crazy little weird stories with some of this. So, as always with me. Um, Wanted to talk a little bit about Free Comic Book Day. Um, I help out a bit at my LCS, the Secret Lair Comics in Harrisonburg, Virginia. And on our Free Comic Book Day, we were hosting Ben Harvey. Ben Harvey is an artist. A lot of people know him especially from doing One World Under Doom. He did all the A covers for those. And then also the recent Captain America series. He is also, I think, the cover artist for the latest issue of Cyclops. But he is doing a lot of cover art lately, getting a lot of jobs from Marvel. I know there's a lot more coming from him and some big titles. So that's very exciting. But we had a huge line for Free Comic Book Day. There was probably about an hour and a half of the first hour and a half of the day. The line was out the door, and it started down the sidewalk into the parking lot. It was a crazy day, and a lot of people came in, which was wonderful. It's great. I was a lot of times I'm kind of the handler for the creative guest. This time he had a whole like point of sale system that he was running for prints and all kinds of things. And so they kind of chose one of the owners, to actually kind of run that part for Ben. So I was kind of the bouncer for the line and kind of maintain that to make sure we have kind of a crowded space. So it's kind of make sure there's only so many people entering in at once. But it was great. I kind of, while people were waiting, got to talk to them, see what they were excited about, which was a lot of fun. If there's something they were into that I could be like, okay, while you're picking out your free books, here's some things to look at on the table. Kind of hung out a little bit with Ben, got to help him set up his table the night before, talk to him throughout the day, and everything. So I wanted to show a couple of things that I got from him. Um, if I'm trying to think about the timing of when I put these videos up, but I did get a trade from Johnny that is it's Marvel World, but this is a book, a trade that he got that was in a blind bag uh, that that I opened up. There was this Marvel World blind bags, and there's a chance to get different covers with that. And it was so funny. I got the package the very next day. I get I get the package. I open it up. I get the Ben Harvey cover. And the next day, I was going to see him, to get stuff signed. So this was great. It was also kind of cool to show this to Ben because I was like, I have something that that you have your work on that you've probably not seen, and he had not. So he was pretty excited to see that and to kind of see something that he didn't know was printed in a way, to kind of see that. Now this trade, I put something in the video that I did for the unboxing of Johnny's package there. That sounds funny. Um, I put some more information about what's included in this, but it does have the first two issues of One World Under Doom, plus like a Spider-Man, Iron Man, some different stories like that in there. It's all in French, so that's very cool to me. But I did get him to sign this here, so he put his BH on there. Um, and I also got him to sign my cover of One World Under Doom. And it's kind of interesting. You can tell this, and Ben noticed this right away, is like the cover. on the trade is, a little darker than the cover on the actual comic. So kind of neat to see like a little tone variant on that. Ben also did this cover, which I got signed, which is a variant of Fantastic Four, but I'm a sucker if it's got Doom on it, of course, that I'm going to think about that one. I got that. I got this one signed, One World Under Doom #9. This is the last issue in the series. I just really like this cover. Got to talk to him a little bit about this cover. He said he had started to do something and he kind of threw it all away because he's like, this is the last issue. I can't go easy on this. I need to pull out all the stops as best as I can to try to do the best for the series. So I don't know what his first one looked like, but this is what he ended up with. And I told him, I was like, it's kind of cool. You got Scarlet Witch and some other heroes, Spider-Man and Giant Man, of course, in the back. But there's some villains there. And I was like, I think it's really cool that you included MODOK back there. And he told me Ryan North, who's the writer of the series, is a big MODOK fan. So that's kind of why he chose to put that on there, just as like a little thank you to Ryan North. So I thought that was cool. And then the last book that I got signed was this Captain America. This is just a stunning cover, so absolutely amazing. Ben had some wraparound canvas prints of some of these various things, and he actually donated one of these canvas prints to our shop for hosting him. So he had a great time at our store. Our creators do very well when they come to our shop. Our customers really come out for all the creators, and so they make some good money when they're coming out there with, if they listen and bring kind of what we suggested they bring. But I know Ben, he was like, yeah, just sign me up whenever whenever you want me to come, because he was like, this was better than, he spent one Saturday there. And of course, we're bringing in some guests, another event for him, to possibly see him. But he's like, this was better than the last con that I went to. Like, he's like, I made, so much more money than that. So that's great for just, like a few hours. So wonderful. Um, and then one thing I had requested of Ben is to contribute. I'm working on this jam piece for Fantastic Four. I have two. I have one that I'm doing members of the Fantastic Four, and then I have another one that I'm doing as villains. So I have after this one, Ben was able to do this. I have two spots open for each one of these blanks to try to get into my jam piece. So I had asked him to see if he would do a Human Torch, and he was so busy on the Saturday, but was staying that night. So he's like, "Let me take this home or to the hotel," and he's like, "I'll work on this, and then I'll bring it back the next day." So on Sunday, I kind of went back, met up with Ben to pick this back up. So, but he did this wonderful. Human Torch that's right there, and it's all ink wash, kind of watercolor. Uh, you know, that's made of that, and it's so kind of cool to have that tone turn and like make it. I said like make water into fire. Just really cool. I like the little hint of the Fantastic Four symbol, but just really cool about that. Just to show what I've gotten so far on this is I have Carla Cohen did an Invisible Woman and Lucio Perillo did the Mr. Fantastic. And they're married, so I wanted to get the married couple to do the married group in there. I had Ron Wilson, of course, do the thing there. And then kind of on the back, and I'm using like this clear board so I can see both sides at all time, which is kind of cool. But I had In Hyuk Lee do Medusa, Tula Lote did a She-Hulk. I have Danny did an Invisible Woman, and DeJong did a Nova Frankie Ray. So I'm hoping to get a Luke Cage on here, and also She-Thing, Miss Marvel, Sharon Ventura. Gonna try to get those two to fill out this members of the Fantastic Four trade. Now, I actually didn't purchase any books on Free Comic Book Day from my LCS. Part of that is they had a huge sale on back issues, and I typically, for somebody that are like friends and things like that, just who I am. I don't like to um, purchase some books at their biggest sale. I know that's stupid, but probably from a financial standpoint. But I'm like, these books are so discounted. I want to kind of give them the best money I can. So sometimes I'll buy stuff like beforehand, or after. Uh, but I did have like a dollar book, and they had like stuff that was super crazy cheap. Even the dollar bin books were on sale. But I was like, well, I'm just going to tuck this away, but I'll pay the buck when I need to pay the buck. And so I got this one just because I've never seen the title, and it cracked me up. Maybe I could do a My Light Zone about it, but this was from Solson Publications. This is issue number two, sultry teenage super foxes. So, and no, it's not porn, which you might think, but this, it looks like there's some alien vampires and stuff like that in this. It's done by Rich Buckler and Chuck Wojciechowicz or something like that. Sorry if I butchered that name. But there's so some people that have done some other stuff in comics. So I'll check it out, see what it's like. But sometimes the titles of these things are so weird that I have to pick them up. From an online sale, I was able to uh, get a few things that I was pretty excited about because they were all things that I had been on my radar as possibilities to collect. And so I've been working on some Marvel horror things. So I got this Tomb of Dracula. This is number 54. It's the first appearance of a character named Janus, Janus, not Jinice, but someone named Janice. It's the first appearance of that. I had the whole run of Tomb of Dracula. I traded it for some early FF books. So I've been slowly trying to get back some Tomb of Dracula when I can see that for a good price. So I got that one. I also got Weird Wonder Tales number 22. So this has Dr. Druid is featured in this, but these are reprints from earlier Atlas titles. But Dr. Druid at that time, when he first appeared, was known as Dr. Droom, uh, like Doctor Doom with an extra R in the middle there. And so Marvel ended up changing his name to Dr. Druid when they reprinted this, and they kind of said, "We're all right. We gotta have a different character name because we don't want to cause confusion." And he's a lot more like Doctor Strange in terms of his like powers and how his origin and everything came to be. But I was like, well, I kind of, and he had shown up in some other things, some like Avengers West Coast and different things like that. So he's kind of a weird character. Not a lot of people like him. But I think I'm going to try to get the Dr. Druid issues because it's kind of like, in a weird way, Dr. Doom, Dr. Droom. There is a connection. Then I picked up this issue of Monsters on the Prowl, and Monsters on the Prowl was also a heavily and I'm trying to look up some information of this one. I'm sorry, I failed to do that earlier. But this is, yes, these were mostly reprints. This Monsters on the Prowl series also go into Alice Comics, but this issue is kind of interesting. It's got King Cole back in there, but this is the first appearance of Thulsa Doom. Now, Thulsa Doom is one of the probably Conan the Barbarian's most notorious villain, I would say, his biggest adversary. And so I thought it was really cool to get the first appearance of Thulsa Doom, which is weird because it's in a Monsters on the Prowl book. So kind of weird. Um, Next up, I also got this one. This is a Marvel Spotlight, Son of Satan, number 15. And I've been slowly trying to get some Son of Satan stuff. I have the whole run of the regular Son of Satan series, but I'm trying to get some of the Marvel Spotlights as well. And this is the first appearance of Hell Cow. And Hell Cow is actually a character or a card or something that I do play Marvel Snap. If anybody plays Marvel Snap, there is Hell Cow in that in my deck that I've created to play with. Um, I play with Hell Cow quite a bit. So it's kind of a fun online game with characters, really easy to play. If you have like 5 minutes, it's an easy game to play on your phone. So I picked that one up. And then I also picked up this Marvel Spotlight, number 26. This has the Scarecrow in it. The Scarecrow first appears in a Dead of Night issue, but I think, I don't know. I need to do a little more research on how some of these came to be. But sometimes when there was a character or a story left over that didn't get to finish up in a book, like they end up putting them into other things. It might be like these one-off issues and like some of the Marvel Spotlight, Marvel Preview, Marvel Premiere, different things like that they put some of these remainder stories in. I have a feeling that's what this is. Because it's kind of a one-off, just throw it into a title. But I'm excited to read this. So it's Marvel's Scarecrow, and then I picked this one up because I thought the cover was cool, and it's Challengers of the Unknown, number 66, and it's kind of has like there's a witch and a mummy and like an axe wielding person that looks like the Challengers of the Unknown there. I have never read a Challengers of the Unknown book, and I know a lot of people have told me over the years that Challengers of the Unknown is kind of like Fantastic Four. They feel like ripped off some things from Challengers of the Unknown in terms of the characters and their powers and things like that are in there. So I'm a little scared if I like this that who knows, I might need to get some more. But thought it was a cool cover, and excited to give this a try to see what I think of those characters. Okay, now I have a big stack here to talk about that is all these books that I picked up from one of the weirdest places that I've ever gotten comics. So I saw an ad on Facebook Marketplace, and it had a picture of a bunch of comics on a table, and it was just like $3 each, and it was just posted. The picture had some cool stuff in it, so I was like, "Huh, that's interesting." And it wasn't far from me. They put like estimates of area, and so it's not too far from me. So I was like, okay, so I contacted them and I said, hey, I might want to come up after work to check out this stuff, if that's okay with you. And they were like, oh, sure, that's fine. Here's the address. And I was like, okay. And I gave them a time and said, hey, would this be okay? And they're like, yes, we're open up until 5 o'clock. And I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. But I was like, okay, maybe this is a business, and I'm not sure what I'm running into. So, so I make my way to this address, and it's kind of it's one of the weirdest places that I've been to. So I pull up to the address, and it's kind of a converted house that looks like it's an antique shop in some ways, but there were these signs all around that was like with arrows and stuff pointing out. There was like indoor flea market with arrows, going around the side of the house and stuff. So I was like, all right, this is kind of weird. So I go into the first area and into the house, and there's a couple of rooms that are open for anybody to go into. The rest was blocked off, so I'm guessing it was living space. Um, but I went in there and there was nothing. There was nothing in there in terms of like. I mean, there was some collectibles and stuff, but and antiques. But I was like, there's no comics here. So I was like, okay. And there was one person that was just kind of at a desk that was like, tabling or what, taking money from people. So I was like, all right, this is all kind of weird. And that house is kind of, it's very run down and everything. So I was like, okay. So I didn't ask the person I should have, but I was like, well, maybe I entered the wrong door and maybe it is around back or I didn't get to the right address. I didn't know, I didn't know what was going on. So I kind of exit, and then I was like, well, let me follow the sign. So you kind of go around the side of the house, and there's some, if you can picture, there's like a bunch of like porch furniture and lawn furniture down the side of the house. Um, and then there's a picture with all these faces on it. And so I look at it, and it was like, these people have stolen from us. And it was like, almost like mug shots, but they had, I guess they have some cameras somewhere. And so they took some pictures of people. These people all looked like, I mean, I hate to judge, but like degenerates or crackheads or something like that. And so I was like, oh my gosh, this is an odd place. So, but I continue around the side, and then you had to go down kind of where the back of the house was, and there was this garage kind of set up that was said indoor flea market. And so I was like, okay, maybe maybe this is it. And then there was another picture of these thieves up there. So so I go into this place and in this garage, and you know it's kind of dirty and scary. There's just kind of like what you would see like garage shelving, like metal shelving, all through this place, making this kind of maze, right? And so I'm walking through this maze of stuff, and I don't see anything comic wise, and I'm like, I said, this is kind of sketchy and weird, and I'm kind of getting into a maze. And so I got through the maze, and I was like, I still don't see any comics. I don't know. I was like, I don't know what's going on here. So I start going out through the maze, and I noticed there was something I didn't see on the side, and it just said more stuff, and there was an arrow. And so I was like, oh my gosh. So I go down this other, and it was like a little tiny corridor. And the whole time I'm thinking in my head, this is kind of like an Indiana Jones moment or something where they're about to close the door of the garage, and then or it's like a big tractor trailer or something that I've walked into, and they're going to close it up, and then I'm going to get like shoveled off and sent to another country, trafficked, whatever. I was like, this was sketchy. And so I ended up, but as I round that corner and you're kind of going down this little corridor that was like corrugated metal, so it did feel like going into a like a tractor trailer, and maybe I was, it's hard to tell. But then I see the table that has the comics on it, and I was just thinking like, man, if there was a mouse trap that was gonna catch me, this was probably it. So I found they had tables, just stacks of comics that were sitting up there. Probably 1,000 or so, I would say, in terms of the number of comics that were there. And from the picture that was posted, I was like, they might have some good stuff in here. But it looked like mostly 80s and 90s. So I was like, who knows what I'm going to find here? But I started digging through some stacks. And as I'm digging, I'm like, oh man, this is stuff that has not been gone through by a comic collector. So if like you could go to a new place that you've never been to before, and you come across these comic collections, and you're like, okay, there's this issue's missing. The key, the keys have been pulled out either by the owner or by somebody that's there. But so, one thing that was also going through my mind was okay, this person, this definitely was a business, and they were using this marketplace to kind of promote their business of this flea market kind of thing. Um, but there was no person to talk to. Like there was no person to talk to at all. Because I was going in there thinking like, okay, if they have a whole bunch of stuff they're trying to sell, like I might be able to point them to some good things. And I was thinking it was like some woman that I was talking to, and I have no idea. So I also didn't feel bad because of that. Just taking what I had, and paying for it. So they had a deal. It was like all the comics were $3. Um, and but I ended up getting a better deal on that. So I wanted to preface all of that with what I picked up. So I got some great deals, and so first thing I'm going to show off here is Ghost Rider 28. This is the first cameo of the Midnight Suns and the first cameo of Lilith. So I picked that one up. I also picked up number 31, that is the first cover appearance of Lilith, and it is the first full appearance of the Midnight Suns. So both of these books, like, they'll go, and everything was in such great shape. I was surprised, like stuff was bagged and boarded. There was some stuff that was in my lights, so it was bizarre. But these will go for like $20 each, probably for that. And then, I was surprised to find this. This is like a crispy clean. This is one of those in a My Light, but it's Infinity Gauntlet number one. So I picked this one up. A book that I knew I needed for my collection, Ghost Rider number 36. I'm working on the Ghost Rider Volume 1, and this was one that I didn't have, so I was really stoked to find that. Um, and then I got this Mark Spector Moon Knight number one. I have this already, but this very clean copy of this. This does have a little value as people try to get Moon Knight collections. This is the number one of that series. So I was glad to get that. And then I got this X Factor 92. They had the entire holographic Fatal Attractions, as you can see the hologram pull up there. But the reason that I picked this up is this is signed by Joe Quesada. And I have never, I've never gotten a book personally signed by Joe Quesada. He was at a con one time that I went to, and he was charging $50 a signature. And so I'm not paying $50 for his signature. Sorry, I do like a lot of the stuff that he's done over the years, but that's just a little bit too much. So when you find one that's already got a signature on it, hey, that's good. That's a good deal. Uh, picked that one up. This is also a wraparound cover, but I was never into the X-Men at this point. It's kind of when I jump off with my collection and interest. I also picked up a Ghost Rider Volume 2, number 2. And this has a first appearance. I don't remember off the top of my head who this is, but this is something that I'm kind of looking for a number one of that's the first Danny Ketch. But I want to see how this turns out. So I did, if I find some cheap ones like this that are keys, you want to get them. Okay, this was kind of weird. This is one of those things like you do a double take, as everybody does. Um, but it's the first appearance of Superman in Action Comics number one. What? This would be kind of the place that you would expect to find one. But this is the 50-year reprint from like 1987. It's still about a $20 book. I may already have this. I know I have a reprint of Action Comics number one in a few different formats. Not sure if I have this one in particular, but it's you don't want to leave that one behind. I don't know. It's just it's too iconic for all comicdom. I also picked up this first appearance of Typhoid Mary, which I used to have, but I no longer have. Always kind of liked her character. This is issue 254 of Daredevil. And I also picked up Nightcrawler number one from the limited series. This was a comic that I did a recreation of. for the piece for Lunch Money Mike, so I kind of put his head on that and redid the cover, and that was the piece that I got for him. And it said Lunch Money across there instead of Nightcrawler. But it's been a while since I've owned one of these, and it's been a while since I read it. So we'll see. So a lot of the stuff I'm probably not going to keep in my collection because I was like, I can flip it and make some money. So I don't mind doing doing that and then using that money to do something better with it that I want. I also picked up a Venom versus Carnage #1. This is probably a 20 $25 book that's in there. I also got Incredible Hulk #418, the wedding issues, kind of has that gatefold thing that opens up there, but really clean copy of that. Um, and then I picked up a another copy. This is a newsstand, but this is in premium shape here. But this is a Silver Surfer #1. This is the volume 3, I think it is. But I picked this one up. It might be an upgrade to my regular copy, but I love Silver Surfer, so I didn't want to leave that one behind. And I also got the first appearance of Thunderstrike in Thor 459. So, I mean, a lot of these are like $10 $15 books, which is not bad at all. And so, um, as I'm going through, I see there's a lot of weird comics in here. Mr. Akins would be proud to know there was like a whole run of Brigade, and there was Young Blood, there was all of these kind of things that were in there, and then there were a few comics that were like adult porn comics. Now, that's not something I would probably ever normally pick up. But as I have helped price some stuff over the years at my LCS, um, there are some of these books that I know go for some money. And so there was a couple of things, and some of it was just like it cracked me up. I'm not going to keep these in my collection at all. I have no interest. I'm not these things are kind of skeezy. But going into this, you'll see like there was some weird stuff, but I was like, I'm gonna pick up a few of these because I find them funny. This was one that I picked up, uh, like Triple X Xenophile. And it says practicing safe sex until we get it right, and it's a woman on the bed with a safe. So I thought it was funny. And it's just it had a pretty funny cover. There's like a little thing, happy wipes, and there's like a like a Grammy and a glass of wine and all this kind of stuff. It just kind of cracked me up. So I was like, I'll pick this up. I have not looked up value of this one, but I know some of these go for a little bit. So we'll see. But that's one I'm going to flip. This one, I was like, okay, this is so bizarre to me. Um, and I'm gonna do let's see, let's try to be a little safe with it. It's not nude, but it's a woman holding big boobs. And this is Carnal Comics #1. I really thought this kind of cracked me up. It was approved by the Carnal Code Authority, and it looks like a couple of big boobs instead of the CCA for the Comics Code Authority. So I was like, that's pretty clever. But this one is kind of weird because it's the stories of adult film stars, and it is signed. It is signed by I had to look it up. It's Taylor Wayne. I've never heard of them. I'm not a porn aficionado. Not somebody I'd heard of, but I was like, okay, this is weird. This is, if you can imagine, I'm not sure how this went down, but I'm picturing like, okay, somebody bought this comic and then they found that this porn star was appearing somewhere and wanted to get it signed. I was like, that is just very weird to me. But also, or I'm hoping also maybe it was just some convention or something where she was there and she had the comics on her table that you just bought it all at once. Maybe that's the case. I'm not sure. Um, but this was just too weird. As I was thinking through some of this, I was like, what, getting a porn star to sign a comic is kind of an odd thing. But anyway, so I picked that one up. I'm just gonna flip it, but I was like, I didn't know what the value was of it, but I did see, this is a book I did look up, goes for $15. So it's a little bit of money. Now there was one, the last kind of adult comic that I saw was a book that I've come across one other time. We got one into my LCS, and it was worth a lot of money. And I was like, oh my gosh, I would kind of want it from a humor standpoint, but I'm also not going to pay that much money for it. But it is this. It is Anton Dreck's Forbidden Frankenstein #1. So you can see the subtle placement of the like gear thing, but it is a Frankenstein porn comic, which is so weird. But this book, I looked up, like it is like the condition that this is in and everything. This is easily like $125 book. Um, Insane. But there are weird people that collect weird things, and I will take advantage of them. So I'm probably gonna flip that, or I might just give it to Rich, Big Nasty Comics. So we'll see how that goes. And then I'm getting to the end. I swear. I found this Thor 338. This is the second appearance of Beta Ray Bill. I love Beta Ray Bill. But for a couple bucks, I'm going to pick that up all day. And then I picked up an Alpha Flight #1. This is a pristine copy of this. I may keep this myself. I'm sure it is at least an upgrade to what I have. But I think I have a newsstand. So I may keep this one also. I've always loved Alpha Flight, so I was really excited about this. In a My Light, kind of crazy, but for a couple bucks again. And then this book is also a huge one. Web of Spider-Man #1. Charles Vess cover, one of the, I mean, most amazing black suit covers. Charles Vess is amazing. Charles Vess is actually first comic creator I ever met. He lived locally to me at the time and was at a comic shop and was doing a signing. And I remember getting this signed as a kid. And so that was really cool. But I checked in with Alex, the longest cosplays. He does not have this book, so I'm going to pass on a copy to him. Um, so he just needs to have it. Now, this last book that I'm going to show is one, like, I thought this was going to be my biggest value book that I picked up. Um, it turns out the Frankenstein is the biggest value book that I picked up. But as I showed earlier, there was that Fatal Attractions series. And so it crossed over into a lot of the X titles, the X-Men titles. And I remember just in the back of my head, there's one of these books that's worth a lot of money because there's something weird about it. And so I started doing some research and I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. So I picked up Wolverine #75. Now you can see there is a hologram, but yeah, we can see it right there. It is all blue. And so it was funny. There were multiple copies of a lot of the Fatal Attractions ones. They had the regular one that was green, but this one is blue, this book, I thought when I was looking at something quick, I was like, oh man, this could be like a $150 book. It's not actually that much, but this goes for $60 all day. So definitely something that I am going to flip as well. So that's a huge haul of things. Oh, to talk about the deal that I got from the Shady Place. So, the one thing that I was laughing about and I decided I was going to put for the title was, like, and you'll see in the title, but I was thinking like I got the first appearance of Superman, or I got the first appearance, or I got some chlamydia from touching that Carnal Comics #1. So, and there's a misprint and all this stuff. So this stack of books, there's 21 of them in here, and I took the books up to this random person to pay them, and they were like, "Oh, you got a stack. We're going to knock some off of that." And then if you were paying in cash, you actually got it. Um, you got 10% off of that. So ended up getting this 21 bucks for $49. So I felt that was a really good deal to get this stack, and especially, like some that are in here, crazy. But I didn't feel too bad because it was kind of like these antique shops and something like that, or this weird sketchy place. It's like there's really nobody to talk to. They're just putting some stuff out to sell, and so be it. But I had a bigger stack, and it might be something that I go back to. At some point. We'll see. It might get picked over time, but they had a lot of good stuff. There was probably I probably put back over like twice the size of that stack, and there was some decent stuff in there. A lot of $10, $15, $20 books. But I was like, this is what I had on me to possibly spend, and I got a great deal, I think, on those as well. So let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know if you would have walked into a creepy place like that just for some comics. I think a lot of you would. And make sure you flip through a floppy, and I will catch you in on the next one. So thanks so much for watching. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.